Listen now.
What's up, guys? Dry here, coming at you with Season 2 of Castlevania Nocturne. Now, I will say, I had a lot of fun watching this. Like, just so much fun. The animation, killer. All the characters were built upon, I felt like, very well as a whole. And, you know, again, just a fun time to watch. Now, we pick up right where we left off, right? Alucard just saved the day. We got Richter Belmont, Juste Belmont, Maria, Annette, and Mizrak. And in all honesty, while things are definitely happening, right? I guess the easiest way to kind of like, if I had to put this into one sentence, right, is everyone's kind of dealing with their problems on their way to face the final boss, right? Obviously, Richter kind of dealt with, you know, his issues and his fears of Olrox killing his mother, because now he's got access to his magic back, and he's just letting loose them hands. The entire season, for me, he stole the show. Even though, yes, it's about him, but I thought Alucard was gonna come in hot with the sword, just like he did in the finale. But not to say that he was more relegated to a side character. He was a great character, but Richter was just like, man, I really love this kid now. Because in the first season, to be honest, I did not really like him. He was kind of not likable. He was kind of like a whiny little boy, but homie has grown into himself and is now just throwing hands. He's got lefts, he's got rights, and I'm here for it all day long, right? Now, Maria is kind of an interesting character because she's dealing with, not so much the loss of her mother, but the fact that her mother's turned into a vampire who also can use magic and summoning magic. Oh, and her dad is turning people into creatures of the night from season 1, and he's kind of, traded making night creatures for the good of mankind for trading, creating night creatures for Elizabeth. And it's kind of a lot to deal with. She's got her, internal family anger issues. Is it Juste Belmont obviously just came out of being a hermit and is trying to kind of not so much figure himself out, but he's like, all right, I'm back on the front lines. I'm back to doing this stuff again. And then Mizrak's in the closet. Oh, almost forgot about Annette. She's seeing the spirits, right? And she can't really figure out what it's for because it's scaring the crap out of her, and she's trying to keep it a secret, right? Everybody is for the most part dealing with some kind of like internalized issue to a degree on their way to go beat Elizabeth to death. I will also say another character besides Richter who stole the show for me wasn't so much Alucard, but they brought back Doltra. And man, I hated her just like I hated her in season 1. I hated her in season 2 because Elizabeth was like, oh my gosh, my baby girl, she's dead. And then she looks to Maria's dad, the priest, and is like, yeah, bring her back with this night creature machine. And he does. And I was like, okay, there's got to be some kind of side effect. Nope. She just gets a power-up. She just gets a major buff. She can fly in the middle of the day and not burn to death. And honestly, that's Mad Hacks, bro. That's plot armor at its finest. I'm just kidding. But it does present a huge problem. Now, the other reason why she kind of stole the show is we learn a little bit about her in a sense of her own origin story, right? She was a priestess in Egypt, worshipping Sekhmet. That kind of explains a lot, right? Her whole I am Sekhmet thing, or like trying to make Elizabeth Sekhmet. Her temple gets raided, and then she's like, okay, you know what? This all happened for a reason. She becomes a vampire because one of the people who raided the place was a vampire, and she was like, all right, I'm gonna make him make me powerful by sucking on his blood. And, then she goes on her quest to find, her ideal vessel for Sekhmet so she can worship her. Now, that's, for the most part, the main deal, right? Like, obviously, we see a little bit of her. Like, she found Elizabeth, good old Elizabeth Bathory, and she was like, yo, I got a deal for you. I'm going to make you a goddess. I'm going to make you queen. And again, that's to put everything in a nutshell. Like, again, everyone is kind of dealing with their issues on their way to Elizabeth. And they all kind of find these, like, not so much interesting solutions. Like, obviously, for me, the biggest one that I wrote, stands out in my head is Maria, right? Because she's so angry. She's like, I'm going to go kill my dad. And also, her mom kind of told her, yo, your summoning powers, there's other things in the void that you can summon besides, like, birds and shit. So she starts summoning tigers, and then when she decides, she's like, yo, I know where my dad is. I'm going to go murk him. She summons a dragon. A dragon, right? Straight murks him. And he's just shaking in his boots while it's happening. And they realize, okay, dark side power is bad because she loses control after the death of her father. This creepy smiley shade happens. Again, I'm not gonna get too nitty gritty, but let's just say the shade thing was really creepy the whole time because he's just smiling and not doing nothing. But again, people dealing with their problems on their way to Erzsébet. And let's just say when everybody finally meets on the field of battle to go toe to toe with Erzsébet, right? She's got the powers of Sekhmet. She's all buffed up and she's like, yo, I'm gonna murk everybody. Oh my gosh, like talk about not lack of budget. Talk about blank check. They took the budget and said, yeah, I don't know what you want us to do with this, but we're gonna do our own thing. You know what I mean? Absolutely fantastic animation, right? The character design, just from season 1 and 2. I mean, Castlevania as an anime as a whole, fantastic character design. I think it's beautiful. But also, the fighting, the action animation was pristine. I don't think I've seen animation of that quality. Like, I'm not saying ever, but it's few and far between. Like, the only ones I think of are like Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer right now. As far as like major ones that stick out in my head is like, yo, this is an epic battle, right? I saw a dragon boxing, guys. You don't see dragons boxing, right? And then my boy Richter, oh my god, my boy Richter was throwing so many hands. My boy was throwing hands like he was giving out Halloween candy. My boy was throwing out hands the way, oh my gosh. I just had to. Again, if you guys don't know, I'm a huge boxing fan. I'm a boxer myself. So when I see my boy out there throwing, 22 punch combinations with hands of literal furious fire, it puts a smile on my face. Like the whole time I was throwing out my arms, I was like, ooh, 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 get him, bam, 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 right? And my boy was. Whoever animated this has to know at least a little bit about boxing because that was too clean the entire time. Now, again, there's a gross oversimplification as well as me fanboying about the animation, so I'm just going to give you the down and dirty, right? As far as what I thought about it, fantastic animation, fantastic character design, but also, guys, the voice acting for me was fantastic, pristine, right? Couple well-known names, especially Juste. I'm drawing a blank, but I'll put their names up somewhere, or if I don't, you know what, it is what it is. But again, I thought the voice acting was great. I thought the characters, as far as, the writing and the story, I felt like the depth of the characters was increased pretty well. And it really made me care about all these characters and hate some others, right? Like, man, Ultra, you love to hate her. You love to hate Erzsébet. But I was like, my boy Richter. I was like, ooh, him and Annette. All right. Right? Maria, I was like, oh my God, sweetheart, I get it. You're angry. Mizrak, bro, that closet has a door and you're welcome to walk right through it. Juste, my boy, you got some trauma too. Just because you 60 doesn't mean you can't go seek therapy, right? Get your magic going. And he did. And then Alucard's, he's cool. He's collected. He's like, I know what I'm about. I don't got no issues like that. It was like, I just, you Belmonts are annoying, but you're also really dope. It is what it is. Now, overall, I have to say, I know, guys, that was just kind of all over the place, but I'm going to have to give Castlevania Nocturne a solid 8.75 out of 10. The only reason I'm not giving it a solid 9 is simply because with the ending, we find out, obviously, that, the team's splitting up. Edouard, Annette, and Richter. Edouard's, I almost forgot, he's the guy who got turned into a night creature from season 1. But they're all going back to the new world, and they're going to go fight some battles over there. While Juste, Alucard, Maria, and then Mizrak has, been turned into a vampire by his buddy, his Olrox. Now, again, I'm not going to get too detailed by that, but they're all staying, in Europe, fighting the good fight, so to speak, in the French Revolution. But also we see that Maria's mother, who is again a vampire, and the shade of her father is watching them and stalking them and giving some really creepy, like unhinged smiles. And it's like, I just want to know more because we didn't really find out what was going on with that. So that's the only reason why I'm giving it, once again, an 8.75 out of 10. I highly recommend it, guys. Check it out on the flicks and have a good time watching it. I it was like I was watching an actual boxing match, an actual UFC fight, and I'm here for it, guys. Again, I hope you enjoy this video. Like, share, and subscribe. It helps me out a ton, and it makes me appreciate all the love and all the support. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Jiraiya, outie.